Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Star Flames. In this video, we're going to talk about Bjorn Gulden, the CEO of Adidas. He's saying that the collaboration with Ye is one of the most successful collaboration in history, and he's also saying that, this could have happened with anyone that they have collaborated with, an athlete or any other artist, because these things do happen. But the focus here is that it's one of the most successful collaborations in history. And he doesn't believe that, Ye is anti Semitic nor a hateful individual. And I'm happy that Bjorn Gulden has said that. He also acknowledged that, what Ye said wasn't, appeasing to a lot of people. But here's my take before I play that clip for you guys, right? Because if we're really thinking about it, right? Ye has been accused of being a hateful individual, but are we paying attention to the fact that because of a letter that Emanuel wrote saying that the companies should drop Ye, are we realizing that Emanuel himself has ruined over 10,000 people's lives? Are we even taking note to observe that? Because when all those companies had cut ties with Ye, Ye have lost his money. Ye has lost his business. Ye was able to move on. But what about those thousands of staff who got laid off, who have their kids going to college, their families to feed? Emanuel alone not only, determined what was going to happen to Ye, but he impacted a lot of people's future with that one decision. And I honestly believe that he wasn't thinking carefully, because he was accusing Ye of being hateful, being anti-Semitic, and because his ego could not allow him to think through the situation, to say, if I cancel Ye, these staff that works at these companies are going to be out of jobs. What's going to happen to their families? What's going to happen to their kids? Their kids are going to have to drop out of school. Their kids are going to have to drop out of college. I may affect someone losing their home. So Ari Emanuel is far worse than the man that he's accusing of being a hateful person, because our common sense should tell us that that man alone has caused a lot of people's pain. Adidas had to cut ties, and they had to do what they had to do, but it's not because they necessarily wanted to, do all of that. But let me go ahead and play that clip for you guys, and then I'll get back with the rest of my commentary.
But sometimes the disadvantage of going with the big names is that sometimes they become very dominant, and you kind of had this issue with Kanye West. So what happened there?
Well, this is before my time. I think Kanye West is one of the most creative people in the world, and both in music and what I will call street culture. So he is extremely creative, and has, together with Adi, created a Yeezy line, which was very successful. And then, as creative people, he did some statements which wasn't that good, and that caused Adi to break the contract and withdraw the product. Very unfortunate, because I don't think he meant what he said, and I don't think he's a bad person. It just came across that way, and that meant we lost that business. One of the most successful collabs in the history. Very sad. But again, when you work with third parties, that could happen, and it's part of the game. That can happen with an athlete. It can happen with an entertainer. So it's part of the business.
Yeah,
there you have it, guys. So I have no doubt that if Bjorn Gulden was at Adidas at that point, he would have found a resolution that, could work. I'm not saying that everyone would have felt comfortable and happy with it from the get-go, because I mean, if a group of religious people says they are offended and hurt, we also have to be respectful and acknowledging to their feelings and emotions. Also, at the same time, Ari Emanuel had the power to determine and cause an effect on thousands of people's lives, but I believe that he was not thinking about anyone outside of himself and him displaying his power and authority that he holds and his actions, in my opinion, because I'm thinking, on the broader spectrum, his actions have proven to be far more hateful than Ye's, in my opinion, because when you call on companies to say, you need to drop business with this man, right? Did he say to himself, when they drop business with this man, it means that they would have to lay off thousands of staff. What's going to happen to these people and their families? But he wasn't thinking about that. He was thinking about his emotions, his ego, and people like those, they they basically inherited their power. They never had to work for anything, so they cannot see past that nose that they have, because they're too selfish to think outside of themselves. So Ari Emanuel was so deeply selfish that he didn't care about how his actions were going to impact those families that would have been laid off from their job. He wasn't even thinking about how his actions would have impacted someone's education, their health, and all of that. And as such, it proves that he's really not a true leader. And it also proves once again that Ari Emanuel, he's far more of a hateful person than the man that he's accusing of being a hateful individual. And our common sense can tell you that he definitely is very egotistic, and he lacks proper leadership in general. He's very selfish. And what people sees is just power. And when you display that power consistently in such a reckless and careless manner, people are going to start looking at you carefully, because I know that from his actions, he has basically created enemies that he did not have before. Because if someone had to drop out of college, someone had to suffer because of him, people are going to look at him like, you're the cause of this because you didn't have to make that decision. And there are people out there who are smart, who knows how to have, a decent conversation that can resolve a conflict of interest, so that all parties can feel somewhat comfortable. They could have called for a meeting and a resolution could be provided, with every community working together, striving for better, in order to not repeat the actions of past hateful leaders. So has done what he accused you of doing. Ari Emanuel actions have proven to be far more damaging than what he had accused ye of. And that's all I have to say about that. Let me know what are your thoughts, and while you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up, share if you care, and talk to you all later. Peace.